What's up, beautiful people? Welcome back to another video. I am Kimberly Deneen with Education Noire, and today's video is all about why I quit teaching in the United States. So if that sounds interesting to you, please stay tuned. So I have my notes here on my phone. There are 5 reasons why I quit teaching in the US. I still teach. I just teach internationally now. I teach currently in Abu Dhabi in the United Arab Emirates. So reason number 1 is unsustainable workload. I quit teaching because the workload was truly unsustainable. The class sizes continue to grow. The resources stayed the same, and even though the class sizes continued to grow, there were no added resources or funds to support that growing population in the classroom. And so my salary didn't increase, and nor did the resources increase. So the workload became unsustainable. I was exhausted. I felt overworked and underpaid. You might hear my neighbor outside. I hear a little kid out there, so hopefully you can hear me. So that's the first reason, that it was an unsustainable workload. And then number 2 was lack of support. Lack of support came in different forms. It could have been lack of support from the administration, especially when we are dealing with parents. Kind of felt like, I personally felt like sometimes I was on an island and I didn't have support in, regarding the parents. If the parents were angry about something, I kind of had to handle a lot of that stuff on my own. So I didn't have the support that I needed. I didn't feel supported oftentimes even by, the school district itself, which is one of the reasons why I stopped doing overseas trips. I used to do them regularly for my students, take them out of the country. And once so many of the school systems stopped kind of backing that with insurance and liability insurance and those things, and I just didn't want to take the risk. Not only that, but there was also a lot of lack of support from the home. A lot of times the parents or the guardians did not hold up their end of the education process for their student. So overall, I didn't feel supported. So that's number 2. Number 3, a lot of times there were unclear expectations. This came in different forms as well. Lack of communication or miscommunication. That definitely left a gray area for expectations. Also, I think that even the observation process oftentimes was not clear. Like, who's rating me? I had one year where one administrator started off, observing me and giving me feedback regarding my performance. And then in the middle of the year, I had a whole nother, a whole nother principal that I found out was supposed to actually be, my administrator to rate me and to give me feedback. So it just became confusing at times. So the expectations were not clear. So that was number 3. Number 4 was the low pay. So I taught in about 7 different school districts in the United States. The bulk of them were in Virginia. And then I taught in 2 different districts in Maryland. and I finally ended up in Washington, D.C. So prior to working in Washington, D.C., the pay was very low. I found myself having to sometimes take out like personal loans to, manage my household. And this happened, when like my son's father, my husband is what I call him. He doesn't like that, but that's what I call him. When he actually was out of work and we had to, rely on one income because he was injured from work. So, the low pay, a lot of times teachers make less than so many of the other professions, however, require us to maintain our certification through workshops, through classes, just like a doctor has to maintain their license to practice. They have to go to conferences, they have to do different things. We had to do that also. And a lot of times we had to do that with our own funds because either the district didn't pay all of, the course tuition, or they paid half of the course tuition. The last district I was in, if I accepted help, which didn't cover all of my one class for graduate level, if I accepted the funds, I had to give them 3 more years of service. So, the low pay and the high expectations of maintaining the license was definitely a deterrent for me to continue teaching in the U.S. And then number five was the stress. I was so stressed working in the United States. Like I said, I worked in 7 different school districts. The stress came from a lot of different things. The overload of work, the behavior of the students, and not just the behavior of the students, but not holding the students accountable. And also this whole mentality of, well, if they're only doing what you let them do. I've heard so many administrators say that. No, students are, unless they're diagnosed with some type of learning disability, they make choices. Just like we make choices. Everyone makes choices in how they govern themselves, right? So it was just stress coming from so many different things, the deadlines, the unwritten rule of you got to work from home because we're not giving you enough time to do your work here during the work day. So it kind of was like that unspoken expectation, like you got to do your work at home because we're not going to give you enough planning time to do your planning, to grade your students, give valuable feedback to your students, and and meet all the deadlines that we're going to put on top of all of that. So, and then the stress of, figuring out how, to make this low pay work so that I can live a decent and comfortable life. So that is what, so those are the reasons why I quit teaching in the US. All of these reasons are why I sought to teach in another country about 6 years ago. So I would like to hear from you. If you are working in the educational system, I don't care where you're working, what are the issues that you are dealing with? Or if you decided to leave the US and teach internationally, what drove you to do that, and how is it going for you currently in your new position in a new country? For me, I have to say that I have a better work-life balance. The pay is great because they pay for this apartment that I'm doing this YouTube video from. and I have transportation to and from work. So that's another stressor that I used to have going to work in Washington, D.C., that I don't have anymore because I have a bus that picks me up from here, this apartment, takes me to work, and brings me home. So Monday through Friday, the traffic is not a stressor for me. So this choice that I've made to work internationally has definitely changed my life for the better. And so I want to hear from you. Please share in the comments, your current work situation if you're in education, and if you have made a transition to either teaching abroad or working abroad, let us know about that. Thank you so much for watching, and please remember to tap that like button so this video can be shown to more people. And if you have not subscribed to our community, please consider subscribing. This is your personal invitation. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.